Hello, YouTube. So today we are starting something a little new and a little different. If you're on YouTube, you'll also be able to hear this on your favorite podcasting platform of choice. And if you're listening to it on a podcasting platform, you can hear it on my YouTube channel at Nom Creative, as in Om Nom Nom. So I'm Ben Lucas, photographer in the Seattle area. All of you YouTube subscribers already know that. But we are starting a brand new podcast today. So this is episode 0. We're just going to do some introductions. So welcome to episode 0 of the Photo Op podcast, all things photo opinion. So I'm going to introduce my co-host, Stuart Merlantis. Stuart.
Hey there. So, who am I? Am I supposed to introduce myself? Is that how we're doing this?
So I guess let's start this episode with why should people listen to us and our opinions?
Sure.
Who are you? What do you do? What makes
Sounds
you
good.
knowledgeable?
So I do all sorts of stuff. I'm kind of a guy that bounces back and forth between all sorts of different disciplines in the photo and video space. I mostly am video centric. That's where a lot of my perspective in this podcast is going to come from. But I've done all sorts of stuff. Obviously, I've worked with Ben for years on all sorts of fun things, from weddings to video to, whatever is available. I try to jump in on it.
For those of you that follow on the channel, you can see Stuart in a bunch of my videos. We did a slider review. I owned a slider. He owned a slider. So we're like, hey, let's
head to
put
head.
these together head to head. We both have some motion control stuff, I think. We've done. What other things have we done? Oh, we did the Westcott X-Rite. No, not
X-Drop.
X-Rite. X-Drop. I also have an X-Rite, but that's a different company.
X-Rite is a thing too, yeah. But yeah, we've screwed around on YouTube together a lot. In my own personal work, I've done a lot of work actually in education. Worked for the University of Washington, worked for school districts and stuff, doing a lot of video and web content for them. So I come from a more video-centric, very kind of web content-centric background, and I also really like audio stuff. I worked in radio briefly, and really enjoyed that. And we've been talking about what's another way that we can utilize our talents, and we came up with this little podcast. So that's where I'm coming from. A lot more scattered. Ben is great in that he's got. This is what he does.
I'm very skilled at a few things. Stuart is excellent at many things.
Well, I would say you're very skilled in a few things, and I'm very unskilled but familiar with many things.
So, I would also say that I kind of lean more towards the creative side. I know my technicals, absolutely. I can work my way around a camera. I can work my way around a computer. But when it comes to like, hey, what is this error code type thing, you're like, I know that one.
Yeah, I got that IT kind of stuff going too.
Yeah, so I definitely think I kind of approach it a lot more. I'm an art major, so I know color and composition and lighting and all of that stuff, and I think you know that to a extent, but you're much more on the technical side.
Yeah, I would say you're the artist and I'm the technician. I'm come at it from a really technical perspective, and kind of that's what I like in media production, if that makes any sense. I like all of the weird, crazy setups, and I like making it as difficult as possible for myself. Like I do a lot of scuba diving, which will probably come up on the podcast at some point. But I do a lot of that, and that's something where I've done production work, is like shooting stuff underwater, and that is just like the worst possible place to shoot anything. And so I really am attracted to that. Like, how hard can I make a production and then go after that, try to find a solution. So that's how I kind of approach it. I'm not an artist. Ben is the artist.
Well, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to throw on screen right now a photo that I did with Stuart. So this is the photo of him in all of his scuba gear.
Yeah.
So all of the background, this was a composite of probably, I think, 80 or 90 different photos. Yep. So I shot you in the studio, and then all the background plates are your photos from a trip that you took.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I went off to Australia and did some diving on the Great Barrier Reef, trying to see it before too much of it was damaged from climate change. So I took a bunch of photos, and then we came back and threw threw all my gear on in a very hot summer day in, like,
yeah, I almost killed you. That was rough.
But hey, it anything for the shot, right? We got it done. So
excellent.
It worked out.
So yeah, that is a little bit about Stuart. If you're new or if you're just listening to this in podcast form and you haven't met me before, so my name is Ben Lucas. I'm a professional photographer in the Seattle area. I shoot a little bit of everything, but a bulk of my business comes from portraits, commercial portraits, headshots, and of course, weddings. My YouTube channel is all just for photographers. I do tutorials, I do gear reviews, and just kind of thoughts on different things photo related. So I'm trying to gear that towards photographers, whether you're beginner or advanced. You can get something out of it. You can learn something new. You can keep growing in your craft. But there are a lot of topics that on my organizational board that I wanted to talk about, but they're not quite tutorials and more just like my opinion on an article I read or my opinion on a certain take. The next one we're going to do, no spoilers, do you delete photos? Yeah. So just my opinion on these things, and so that's kind of why we decided to start this podcast, Photo Op, the Photo Opinion Podcast. So did you have anything to add to that?
I don't think so. I really think that this is going to be an exciting project just right off the bat, because there are so many things that we have to discuss and talk about that I think is going to build a really interesting dialogue, not just between us, but hopefully with the listeners or watchers, viewers as well. So I think this is really cool. And I think it fills a space that is really needed. So I'm excited to see where this goes and what we chat about and how we clash over different topics.
Oh, yes.
So
that'll be fun.
So I think this is great. I'm really excited.
We very much want your questions and ideas for future discussions on this podcast. So if you have any questions, Stuart, how can they send those in?
So we'll have a little site set up, but we also have the email hello@photo-op.show. hello@photo-op.show. Remember that dash. And it's .show, not .com. So hello@photo-op.show. And photo-op.show will also have a little landing site for that, which will have an email link as well. So pick one of those.
Excellent. So I think that concludes this episode 0. If you want to find me, I'm Ben Lucas. You can find me on any social media platform of your choice at Nom Creative. That is NOM Creative. My website is nomcreative.com. And then Stuart,
cool.
how do you want people finding you?
Do I want them finding me?
Stuart is a man of many talents in many different places.
I'm kind of out there in the void right now, sort of in the middle of things. So I'm on Twitter.
Yeah, give me your
sporadically,
Twitter handle.
Which is my name, at Stuart Marlantis, which is really long and complicated. It's at STUARTMARLANTES. So for anything that I'm doing, I'll post it there. I'm actually kind of working on a new channel and some new content. So go there if you want to see any of that stuff when it comes out. But for right now, that's probably the best place to go so I can direct you otherwise. I just have to make it difficult.
Excellent. All right, so that wraps this episode 0. If you're new, thank you so much for finding us, and for my YouTube subscribers, this will not be replacing tutorial content, but I know things are kind of hard with everyone being stuck at the moment, so this will be supplemental, and tutorials will still be coming out regularly on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See you next time.